After all this time, we're finally here. It's game week. New York Jets, Buffalo Bills. A week from today will be Monday Night Football. The Jets and Bills will close out week number 1. Let's give you an early preview with a special guest here on Boy Green Daily. Zoinks! And it is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Yeah, I'm going to be blunt. The bananas are lost. I don't know where they are. I was just talking to this man before we hopped on live. It's game week. It's freaking game week. I'm looking at the little date thing on my computer. September 4th, a week from today, the Jets and Bills will be playing. Oh, my goodness. Let's bring them in. Let's waste no more time. Matt Gosh darn O'Leary, which, by the way, we just shot. Let's give a warm congratulations for 7 million views. Very nice. Very nice, Matthew. Yes, very nice. Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I can't believe it. I did not expect that when I started my channel, but here we are, and we're ready for New York Jets football now. Things you love to see.
Also, happy Labor Day to all you out there. Even for me, I'm not going to be on the radio today, so just Jet stuff. Robert Saleh set to speak in a couple of hours. So, this is the breath of game week here. So we're in it, and we will give you an early preview. I feel compelled to do some shameless self-promotion because I tweeted this out last night. Here's the schedule, by the way, and more will be added for the weekend. Let's throw it up here on the screen. Boy Green Daily, here is the lineup, obviously starting with the handsome Matt O'Leary. How could you not? There's no better way you could have customized that week. Tuesday, we have Jordan McGee of Two Bills in a podcast. We'll be kind of floating in between Jets and Bills. People kind of like that. Again, this is the first season of Boy Green Daily, where obviously Jets football is going on at the same time. So we're kind of mix in and out Jets and Bills people. We have Sal Capaccio, the legend, Buffalo Bills sideline reporter from WGR 550. He joins us on Wednesday. Thursday, Joe Caparosa, the Badlands podcast. And Friday, Ty Butler of ESPN 98.7. So we got a spectacular week and more to come for Boy Green Daily. You guys can either watch it live every day, 7:30, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or listen to it anywhere where you find your podcast at Boy Green Daily. Simply there. So I want to ask you this. This is how I want to start it off. I just tweeted this out, and I'm imagining Bills fans are going to see this very quickly. I'm going to just say this. I'm going to tell you the tweet. I'm also going to tell you with it that I am feeling unbelievably confident going into this game, man. I know the Jets are going to win this game. I feel it in my bones. I feel it everywhere. And I tweeted this out. If Zach Wilson beat the Bills and a broken Mike White almost beat the Bills, what the hell do you think is going to happen on Monday Night Football with Aaron Rodgers? I know the Jets are going to win, and that's how confident I feel. What's your confidence meter heading into this game, Matt?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this game as well. I know it's been hyped up for a really, really long time. It feels like, right? We've been talking about this isolated game for months, but I'm with you. I'm in a pretty good spot as well. Buffalo's they're a good football team. There's no denying that. And Josh Allen's a great quarterback, but the Jets played him tough both times. They beat him with Zach Wilson at quarterback, and they are a Joe Flacco fumble away from beating them a second time with the half-broken Mike White. Like you said, your tweet, spot the lie from the Boy Green tweet. You can't. So I do think they win the game. I think it'll be a tight game. I don't think either team runs away with this one, but I think the Jets get the W in week 1.
I'd be fine if what you prognosticate happens. If it's a close game, good for the fans, the neutral fans that'll just be watching because it's on Monday Night Football. I think we're going to get exactly what happened with the Rams-Bills in week 1 last year, where the Bills just beat the Rams with a rusty wrench. I believe the Jets are going to overwhelm the Bills. And again, I want to start back off at the beginning that I don't think the Bills are a bad team, obviously. I think they're a really good team. But everyone can get got on any day. And I think the Jets are just going to and then we're going to be unbearable, obviously, on that Tuesday, because if what I say happens, Step over, Buffalo Bills. I already have some memes and jokes already built and created, ready to go. That's how confident I feel in this one. And then think about a couple of things here, man, as we're just kind of, talking about early game week. We're still a week out, so injury report and some of those other things are coming out. But there's no Von Miller in this game. And he's dynamic, of course. I talked about that Rams game. He had 2 sacks on his own in that game. The rest of the Bills defense had 5 sacks. So Von Miller in himself is dangerous. Yeah. Hashtag analysis. Thanks, everybody. See you later. Yeah, Von Miller, good at football. Yeah, thank you. No, but he's really good. And when he's good, I think the energy's infectious to the other Bills players. Like, holy shit, we got Von Miller. And then additionally to that, I also think that obviously when you have a guy like Von Miller, everyone else is getting mano-y-mano matchups, which they can, of course, take advantage of. You think of that first Bills game. Now, it didn't end up costing the Jets, but it very well could have. Von Miller strip sacked Zach Wilson in the red zone. Strip sack, fumble, booyah. Bills got the ball back. Now, Jets still ended up winning that game, but he is dramatically different. Leslie Frazier, the Bills, one of the big things the Bills have said over the years that why they're so good is continuity. We got the same this over and over and over again. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, is gone, and Sean McDermott is now calling defensive plays. I imagine there has to be some level of rust in his first time doing it in like 7 years. I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of holes here to potentially be taken advantage of.
Yeah, the Von Miller point is a really good one, I think, to bring up because, yes, he is, on the back 9 of his playing career. He's had a long NFL career, but still a really, really productive player. And, that eases things for the Jets not having to go up against them. And the Jets offensive line, they haven't played a ton together yet. So that definitely makes me feel a little bit more confident as well going into this game, knowing that Von Miller, obviously, one of the Bills' better pass rushers, is not playing in this one.
And that should help, obviously, because the Jets, their own offensive line, obviously, I mean, it would help no matter what if Von Miller was out and he is out. But I just mean from the offensive line that's starting to gel, they haven't figured this thing out. It seems like it's been figured out forever now that we're in the middle of it. But the months of like, oh boy, what the hell is this offensive line going to look like? Then all of a sudden it coming together out of nowhere, not having to face Von Miller, that should help things, I would imagine, gel things out. And also, Matt, we've got the better Connor McGovern. We have 2 Connor McGovern starting offensive linemen in this game. Thank you very much. The Jets version ends up being better. So this Bills offensive line, if you really take a study at what they bring to the table, because that's the other matchup, of course. Can the Jets protect Aaron Rodgers? Can the Bills protect Josh Allen? After seeing this defense line, maybe we're too high coming off the preseason of like every play, the pocket's going to collapse and get destroyed by these waves of pass rushers. But like, I'm having like dreams in the middle of the night, like, hoo, like, well, anybody could get to him. It's like Oprah Winfrey. You could get to him. You could get to him. You could get to him. I mean, wow. I don't think they're going to be able to protect.
No, it's going to be very tough. And, looking at the Bills' offensive line, I think they have a pretty solid left tackle. But beyond that, there's some question marks on that offensive line. They're starting a rookie right guard in Osiris Torres, which is going to be, I mean, what a first test, right? Welcome to the NFL. You have to block Quinn Williams in this Jets defensive line. Good luck to you. It's not going to be an easy going for them. And if the Jets are, to win and dominate this game, I think the defensive line's a huge part of that.
And another interesting factor is the Bills used their first-round draft choice on a player called Dalton Kincaid. I know we have varying Jet fans. Some Jet fans are all the way in the trenches, and they're paying attention to all these kind of things as far as we are. And some are kind of like, oh, the season's here. All right, let's see what's going on. So they use it on this tight end, Dalton Kincaid. Now, historically speaking, from an NFL perspective, tight ends are normally very slow to progress from the collegiate game to the NFL game. Now we're talking about his first NFL game ever. So he's interesting because obviously, in theory, with him or Dawson Knox, you could kind of pinpoint matchups with the safeties or linebackers one-on-one. And, over the last couple of years, whether it's a running back wheel route, whether it's because the tight end is just the perfect way to do it because you can either attack the seam, you could be faster than a linebacker or bigger than a corner or safety, so you can really box them out and kind of work them. And, of course, a security blanket for a nasty pass rush that's coming after you. A quick dump off is an easy place potentially for Josh Allen to go. The tight ends are interesting because both of them are supremely talented, but I wonder what the Jets will have cooked up for them from that perspective.
Yeah, that's a good call out from you as well. Dawson Knox and the rookie tight end and Kincaid. I think that's a nice 1-2 punch. But as you mentioned, it might take the rookie a little bit to get going. That's not an easy position to translate at the next level. So it might take him a little bit. But I would think that would be where you'd want to attack this defense, right? Like I don't want to throw to the outside against this corner room, but if there was a weaker spot on this defense, I would say it's the linebackers and the safeties. So if there's a way for Buffalo to take advantage of that, I would think it would be the tight end, but it's not enough to the point where I think like that's it. That's going to be the difference in the game. But that would definitely be an area that I'm keeping a close eye on, is how the Jets are covering those two very good tight ends.
And the running game's kind of meh. I don't know how you are with your pre-draft evaluation on James Cook. I was kind of in the middle. Like, he's a nice rotational piece. I don't think he's any kind of bell cow or anything crazy. And then the other guys in the room, Latavius Murray, who's a local New York legend around my parts, where we cover football from high school. So he gets a lot of hubbub around there, but he's just kind of a journeyman veteran. And Damian Harris, sure, there's a couple times he's given the Jets the business in the past, but I feel like that was more so New England running style than him individually as the superstar player. So the running game in itself, and then of course you factor in Josh Allen's ability to run. He's obviously a difference maker, but the rest of the room, I'm kind of like it's not Jonathan Taylor coming at you.
No, yeah, their best runner is their quarterback. It's been that way for
Yeah,
years, and I don't think it's changed this year. I know, some people are really high on Cook going into another
yeah.
season here, but it's a very okay running back room. I think by far Allen's the best rusher of that group, and it wouldn't surprise me again if he leads the team in rushing yards.
And I think Sauce is going to be ready this time. If you guys remember in that first Bills matchup, again, the Jets are at home. They try Sauce immediately, and it would. I don't know if it was solely his fault, but nonetheless, Stephon Diggs gives him the fake, and then he's going, and it's an immediate like 50-yard bomb right off the get go. And then remember the Jets opening kickoff, the ball, it like falls. They kind of squib it. I'm like, oh Jesus. If you could have written it up anyway, that was the worst way to write it up. But eventually, with the defense lineman and initially being in Josh Allen's vision, he doesn't see it, and it's a gimme pick. I think that was Jordan Whitehead who had the interception. So then it all ended up spinning around. But that to me is kind of interesting as we're looking at this game. Stephon Diggs, Sauce Gardner. I mean, get your popcorn. Superstar receiver, superstar corner, mano y mano. I know he won't shadow. They do it sometimes, but not nearly enough. It's situational, but that to me, come on, that's spicy. That's Monday Night Football. There needs to be a camera on Stephon Diggs for all the drama on top of what's going to be happening with the Sauce stuff.
Yeah, 100%. An interesting offseason for Diggs up there in
Yeah,
Buffalo, to put it lightly, I would say. But
sure.
yeah, that's a great matchup, one that you want to keep a close eye on. As you mentioned, it's not fully like, hey, like Sauce, you're just gonna cover him a la Darrelle Revis in 2009. But yeah, he's gonna be on Diggs a lot, and it's a big test right out of the gate. And unfortunately, Sauce has a lot of haters, so if he gives up one catch to Diggs, it's gonna be clipped and going around on Twitter, which I don't think is fair. But I guess goes to show you just how good Sauce Gardner is if people are going bananas that he gave up a catch.
Yeah, that's true. Grasping at straws, I would say, to go that far to say, hey, look, not that great. We're like, you have done the opposite point, my man. You've done the opposite point. I love this comment here from Ryder and Talon Spa joining us on YouTube, which, by the way, guys, feel free to throw in your comments or questions wherever you'd like. We try to get them in on the show. We need to frustrate Diggs, and I agree, because for those who have not been paying attention to the whole saga, this goes back all the way to their Bills-Bengals playoff game, which was an ugly loss by the Bills. And Stephon Diggs on the sideline with his arms stretched out, barking at Josh Allen about things not going well. If you can frustrate him early, it's almost like the early storm. If you can frustrate him early, perhaps that throws him off for the rest of the game of what he can bring to the table. I feel confident about the Jets corners anyway, but if you can also add that where they're fighting each other, they start turning on each other in hostile territory, that's when you can kind of get the snowball rolling from that perspective. So a good point. And to be honest, it's not a new thing. He's had that passion, for lack of a better word, since the Minnesota days. So it's what makes him special, but it's also his own kryptonite at the same time. They can kind of have that inner frustration, and then all of a sudden they start turning on each other.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're able to get in a player's head, that's, you want to do that. You want to take the better players out of the game, and you don't have to do anything. Like, I'm not saying you hit them dirty or anything like that,
Right,
but
right.
you could just, after plays, chirp them a little bit. And the Jets defense not afraid to do that. So I think you absolutely could do that.
All right, let me ask you about this because when I think of Jets Bills, and obviously we always go back to last year first, I think of Jermaine Johnson and that crazy sack where Josh Allen's rolling out. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't sure if Jermaine was going to get there because so many times we've seen Josh Allen roll to the pocket and kind of squat away like an annoying fly, whatever lame attempt from a pass rusher, and then either, stays up and Big Ben Roethlisberger a la and chucks it deep or gets on the loose and, the wheels are running. But Jermaine Johnson was able to get him from an athletic perspective on the move and take him out. And that was one of only 2.5 sacks Jermaine had last year. But based on everything that we've seen this preseason and offseason, we're like, whoa, Jermaine's in for this massive jump. What's realistic, honestly, though, for him, Matt? Because 2.5 sacks, and then the defense rotation of 30-ish% from a defensive rotation perspective, all of a sudden, potential starter, Carl Lawson's coming back. That's a nice, pleasant surprise. But with how Jermaine has played, he's probably the starter, although they rotate anyway. Like, what is that jump? What should that be? What can that be?
Yeah, for me, I think he's closer to 50%. And
Okay.
that might sound low, but as you mentioned, how much they
Yeah.
rotate, rotate those guys pretty heavily. So I don't think there's going to be too many people. Maybe just Quinn Williams over 60%, and then everyone else kind of hovering in that low 50s to upper 40s kind of percentage there. But I think he could finish somewhere between 6 and 8 sacks. I think that'd be a solid number for him. Again, he's had a fantastic preseason and training camp, and I think we do see a leap, but with the amount that they rotate, like I don't know if we're gonna get a 10 plus sack season. I think that's a little optimistic, but if he's finishing somewhere between 6 and 8 and playing 50% of the snaps, I think that's a really nice sophomore jump from him.
All right, let's get to the poll today here. I'm curious your thoughts on this, Matt. And for people who are just listening in, it's this. The Jets opened as a plus 2.5 point underdog at home versus the Buffalo Bills in week 1 Monday Night Football. What do you make of the spread? And you have 4 choices. That's about right. Jets should be favored. Bills should be up even more than the 2.5, or it should be a straight up pick 'em, a 50-50, a toss up for those who don't know all the betting terminology. Where are you at, Matt, on this?
Yeah, I voted pick'em. I think it should be
Interesting. Okay.
a pick'em in this one. The Jets are the home team in this one, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that that gives them, what is it, a 2 or 3 point.
That's right. Yeah, just in that
Early-
2-3 point range is normally the toss for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So a pick'em says that Buffalo's maybe 2 to 3 points better on an even field. Which, if you want to give them the the history that they've been there, they've done it before, the reigning AFC East champions, they deserve that credit. I think that's fair. I would be surprised if it got to the point where they were favored in this one. But I think a pick'em is more appropriate.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think in any world the Jets will be favored again until they prove it. Now, you beat the brakes off the Bills or even beat the Bills. Now I don't think they'll be favored in Dallas. I would also doubt that no matter what happens with Dallas, who plays the Giants on Sunday Night Football, but it'll be a lot more respectable if the Jets beat the Bills. So I think it's about right for opening. Let's see what it is when we get closer to game time. Maybe 1.5 Bills, somewhere floating in that range would be my expectation. I imagine Jet fans, those crazy bastards, are going to be putting the deed to their cars and houses and pink slips on everything for this game. I think that will spice it up a little bit more. But it seems like, and I guess I'll ask you this, Matt, in the same way that fans are embracing it. They love being the underdog. They love, because that's exactly what they are at this point. Do you like that angle of what the Jets are heading into this week 1 after really an offseason of all hype? This is kind of some humble pie almost in a weird way.
Yeah, I like it. I love the doubters, and just go into it and prove them wrong. That's it. I mean, it's a simple message. Just you go out there and prove it, because that's all that's left. There was a ton of hype in the offseason, and deservedly so. They made a lot of improvements. It was an exciting time, but now you got to go out there and prove it. And if you're an underdog, great, prove them wrong.
Yeah, and I want to make this clear for those who don't know, because I do sports talk radio for a living. Flex on 'em, baby. That's a great job, great job, brings in the bacon. But I'll tell you this, with my job, these are the things we cover: Syracuse football, Syracuse basketball. But the main 3 things, Bills, Jets, and Giants. Okay. So I hear from Bills fans all the time. And I'll tell you this, this is the Bills pulse that I've gathered. Okay. We'll get it actually throughout the week talking to other Bills people. The Bills want to shut the Jets up. They find the Jets annoying, and I'm generalizing, of course, but from the Bills fans I've gotten, it's annoying, Hard Knocks. The Aaron Rodgers thing is annoying. The Jets are annoying. The Bills want nothing more than to come into this game and first, quite frankly, blow the barn doors off the Jets so they can shut them up and all the fans because they think it's bullshit. That's what I've gotten from Bills fans, that, maybe a modicum of respect, but really, like, we're the Buffalo Bills. We've won the division 3 times in a row. We're the ones that have been on these deep playoff runs. You haven't been to the playoffs in 12 years, bozos. So, like, that's the perspective I've gotten, which I hope motivates Jet fans and hopefully even the players, although I'm sure those extraterrestrial, existential, all that stuff outside the building, I'm sure none of that matters to these guys. But that's the pulse I've gotten from Bills fans, and they hate the Jets. They want to shut them up bad, and that's what I've gotten, and that's what I've gathered. That's where I believe that's where some of these people are coming from, Matt. That's where I believe some of these people are coming from.
Well, good luck, because I think the Jets are going to be annoying this year, but just because of how good they are. Like, I don't think they're going away. Yeah, they have, as we mentioned, they had a lot of hype in the offseason, but it's deserved hype when you're landing a quarterback of that magnitude. And, we know how close they were to being a playoff team last year, and the one position was holding them back. It was quarterback. So they went out there and upgraded it. So good. I'm glad they're annoying.
All right, let's give some predictions to end this Boy Green Daily. I'm going to pick the Jets to win 31-12. Again,
Whoa, okay.
I think they're going to give them the business, and I just have to call it how I see it. I just have to say what I believe, and there's some other fans in here. I see Cam jumping in, part of the Boy Green Superfan Club. Thank you for your support. 31-17. We have Jets 37, Bills 13. Good Lord. Okay. All right, I love it. The aggression. I thought I was going crazy, but okay. Matt, where are you at here? Give us a prediction that you have to stand by for the rest of your life.
Okay, yeah, hold me to it. I'm gonna say Jets 27, Bills 24. Field goal game.
All right, there you go, and that's fun for the fans. Way to keep it interesting for the fans, Matt. You're always a man of the people. And
Okay.
I haven't asked you this recently, so obviously I want to get more into the habit of doing this, because obviously we're doing this together every Monday. Matt, what is your schedule? What is going to be your content creating? My full time. I'm so envious of your life, Matt O'Leary. What is on your docket, my friend?
Yeah, so this week is gonna be heavy previewing both the NFL season, the Jets upcoming game against Buffalo. We're gonna get into that deep, later in the week, but just kind of setting the tone for what's to be expected in week 1 and for the NFL season, not just the Jets, but just in general for these teams, and taking a look at the Jets division, how they match up against some of the divisional opponents. It's gonna be a heavy preview week, but I'm excited to get into it, man. I really am.
Heavy preview week. I see what we did there.
But
Boy Green Daily presented by Heavy. Thank our Heavy overlords. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This is phenomenal. Matt, good luck, Mr. 7 million. Good luck on your wonderful content creating week. It should be a lot of fun. And it's going to be kind of weird because the Jets are not used to playing Monday Night Football recently. We're going to meet in a week and preview again, but hopefully with a lot more juicy deets to dive into on a specific nature. So this will be odd because in a week we will still have the Bills logo above your head, but it'll be game day. So game week to game day. It should be a lot of fun. Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you as always for having me on. Looking forward to it.
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to Matt's channel, Matt O'Leary on YouTube, and we will be back tomorrow morning. Again, you saw that wonderful schedule earlier. Boy Green Daily, 7:30. Plus, we'll have some extra guests this week. Stay tuned to the channel. Take care, everybody, and enjoy game week. Jets, Bills. Woo!